Now
Right.
Ashish is more flexible with English, right?
Yeah.
Instead of Hindi, I feel.
No, it's not like that. You know what is the most difficult part? Converting from Hindi to English midway. Like I'm speaking in English and then मैंने हिंदी में बोलना start कर दिया all along the way. It is always going to be difficult. And that is something that I still struggle with.
But for people, like for specifically people who try to, emulate Americans' accent. So I believe they try to mix Hindi and by the way, you
Yeah,
must
see,
it's like that.
Hindi, the actual Hindi is lost 100%. So back when I was in ISRO, there was one class by a Hindi person. I think that we have talked about this before. So he came out and said Shuddh Hindi, 2 to 3 straight up, pure Hindi. Nobody was able to understand. Even the native Hindi speakers, they were not able to understand. And then he read out few of the news articles and the headlines that they are using currently. They are using straight up Hindi English words in their Hindi sentences.
Yeah, I've heard so many people saying this. I thought did this.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something that definitely is not professional. If you're speaking professional English, then I don't think that you should bring out Hindi words over there.
Yeah, also with Hindi, like you should not mix it up.
Yeah.
If you are speaking Hindi, so it should be Hindi. Apart
Correct.
from the words which cannot be converted, some English words and some technical words which cannot be converted into Hindi. So apart from that, you should be you should limit yourself to that language only. Otherwise, it sounds weird on a professional basis.
Yeah, so
Informally, it can work.
there are some Hindi words that the Britishers actually took in their dictionary. Like for example, loot. Loot was a Hindi word and it is taken in their language.
Yep.
In a similar manner, like doctor and all, it is very common for people to even speak in Hindi, right? But it is not actually a Hindi word. Nobody actually says chikitsak, correct?
Yeah, there is also one word, pariah something.
Pariah?
Yeah, and that is also to isolate that person.
There are multiple words that...
I don't know the history behind it, but there is one word,
Yeah.
pariah, and I don't know how it gets pronounced, but most probably it gets pronounced like that only.
Yeah. So you can just search there every year, bunch of words getting added to the Oxford Dictionary, which are having origins other than English language. So
like derive is derived from Latin.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now
I've heard that in a gaming app. Nowadays, I'm playing that app where
Magoosh,
some words,
correct?
Magoosh app where words get thrown up. And
that
you
is
need
a great app.
You need to find the meaning, and if you get wrong over there, they'll try to remind you by again giving it up, again popping it up. So what happened? Like I read it over there. Like they write some sentences also. That is very nice.
Yeah.
They'll give you pronunciation with every word. They'll give you 4 options. First of all, you have to choose that. What can be the synonym, and apart from that, then if you get it correct, then what will happen? You'll get the pronunciation, a sentence with it, and also the meaning.
And level keeps on increasing.
Yeah. The level keeps. It's very interesting app. You should go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Like a huge part of what I do is speaking, and rest of what I do is writing. And both the cases, obviously, more vocabulary can be helpful for you. So I'm also trying to use that. Obviously, it's not a sponsored. That Magoosh is way too famous. You can find it. Most of it is free, I think. And what we are using is obviously as well free.
I'm also feeding those words in your mind. Asking you abruptly, that what is the meaning of this?
Komal have, I think, 10 times the amount of word that is in my head. She always goes through it. So she has a lot of them. But I have actually talked for 5 hours, 6 hours straight up using the basic words. And a lot of times people come to me and they tell me that I am having problem of vocabulary, and because of which when I speak, I'm not getting the words. Then I told them that generally what I tell them is that you listened to me for the last 2 hours or so, but you got all the thoughts that I was trying to convey, right? Now, I conveyed all the thoughts that the words I used over there were already in your head. That is how you were able to understand. That means that you can talk for 2 hours as well using the simple words.
Yeah.
So most of the time, vocabulary is not the problem over there. What I call it as lacking of word is another problem, that even the words that you have in your head, that will not come up when you demand for that in the spot where it is required, because you are not used to that. you're not able
Yeah.
to utilize it at point.
Yeah,
Right?
if anybody comes up to you for vocabulary suggestions, then direct that person to me.
Yeah, that is true. But that is the thing, that vocabulary is going to make your speaking or writing much more artistic. There's absolutely no doubt about it. If you're going to write a book, you cannot do it with basic vocabulary, or you're going to give a tremendously good speech, then it is not going to be with basic language. But for communication basis,
Yeah.
you just need basic words.
Like the one word only, we discovered that today only. There was one word that if we say I was disappointed, and if someone say I was crestfallen. So there is one, you can say the sexiness and the style.
Yeah.
You can feel it because
Yeah, definitely.
it's all about how stylish you feel while speaking any language. It's not about English specifically.
It
It's
becomes-
about any. Also in Hindi, when you try to use proper and the
Any
pure
language,
words, you
yeah.
feel sexy. You feel stylish.
Yeah.
I feel so. You feel confident.
The problem is though,
Yeah.
when those are not generally used words and people can't really get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
The common person will not be able to understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
but
So
then-
then it becomes a communication gap and it becomes a pause in between. Then what are you going to expect? That is he going to open up a dictionary and
Yeah,
find
it's
out?
not, you can't use that with your friends.
That is for
and
a
maybe, and maybe for, you know what, like maybe you are forcing that person to Google it out. It can also be the
Correct,
case.
correct.
Sometimes I catch some words while hearing some speeches
yeah.
and I've heard it from somewhere maybe. Then I'll try to search it up.
Yeah.
And then that's how I get used to so many words.
Yes, that is true. All I'm saying is that is not going to work for a general kind of audience in a seminar or so.
Yeah, agree.
If you have a very intellectual crowd, for example, you are giving a speech in Oxford University or something like that, then obviously you are going to sound much more professional if you do that.
Yes.
And it adds a beauty, like it is ornaments that you're decorating your speeches with.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that can be done in many sense, by the way. So for example, you just use great words, but you don't use your voice that much. So you increase the pace, you decrease the pace, you add the pauses in the correct positions, and that creates a different kind of beauty as well.
Yeah, it's amalgamation basically.
Yeah, it is amalgamation basically, the real toxification. Let us promote our taglines even further. By the way, that was not planned at all.
Yes.
We were going to talk about, that is what happened in the last podcast as well. I think that we should drop the idea of planning at all.
Yeah.
By the way, today we did not plan at all because Komal has been going through so much current affair these days. And she's like, that is just like child's play for me. I can talk about